Homage.
We are live. Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you this evening with a special examination. We're doing a 6-point examination. I've never had any 6-point beers until now. We are looking at the 6-point Master Blend 2019. It is 13% alcohol and 45 IBUs. I am so excited about this, guys. I can't even begin to describe how I'm feeling right now. I had a long day at work, came home. This is the perfect way to get things going. So we've got the Hooded. We've got Michael Kormeroff from Brooklyn, New York, and we have got Bumpy Road Brewery, who sent me this beer, who I'm very grateful for. I will post a link to his channel down in the description below, so you can go check him out after you get done watching this, of course. So cheers to Bumpy. Cheers to Michael. Thanks for joining me, guys. And I'm going to start off by letting Michael talk about 6-point a little bit, because he lives very close to the brewery, and he's one of the guys that kind of turned me on to 6-point in general, because I'd never heard of it. They still don't distribute to Georgia. But like I said, Bumpy was kind enough to send me one of their best beers, I hope. I've heard a lot of good things about this. So, Michael, you got the floor.
Okay, so 6-point started in 2004, just doing kegs. They didn't have any canning facility. They just did kegs, and it was mostly local to the New York metro area. And I think they had like 2 or 3 core beers, and that's all they did. It was called the Bengali Tiger. Now it's just the Bengali, which is their IPA, their Crisp, which was their Pilsner, and maybe one other beer. So they had like 3 beers. And that went along for a really long time, maybe 6-7 years. And then around 2011, they started canning in this type can. And it was innovative because most 12-ounce cans are the stubby cans. This is what would you call this kind of can? It's a
slim can. A slim can.
A slim style can.
The only other company I can think of that around here anyway that cans beer like this is Anheuser-Busch with Michelob Ultra.
Okay, so they can them in this type can, and they have experimented in 16-ounce cans as well, because I've seen some of their 16-ounce cans too, but that's a standard 16-ounce can, and it's like limited release stuff, and they don't do it on everything. But it was interesting that once they did start canning, they first did it in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and were there for quite a few years, and then ultimately went to Memphis. And as far as I know, they're still in Memphis now, but I have a feeling since they've conglomerated now with Southern Tier and Victory, in the future, you're going to start seeing the canning happening at their facilities, which are much bigger than what they have at 6-point in Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, they basically have a facility to do these limited releases. They don't have anything for, mass marketing beer. So both Victory and Southern Tier probably have more brewing capacity. So you will at some point see their stuff coming out of Pennsylvania and upstate New York, I believe. Nobody's told me that officially. I'm just assuming that.
Okay. Yeah, Michael, you're very lucky.
I would assume this beer came out of Memphis, which is where they're still being brewed, and it's a major brewery. It says Brooklyn, New York on it, but I think it probably came out of Memphis.
Mine actually says it has all 3. Well, it has 3 locations. It said formulated and brewed by 6-Point Brewery, Brooklyn, New York, Parksburg, Pennsylvania, and Downingtown, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so the other 2 are the Southern Tier and Victory. But I still think this probably came out. It's possible it came out of one of those 2, and we just don't know. But I think that you in Georgia will at some point see 6-point hitting your state, because they told me at one of these limited release things that the Atlanta market is becoming a key market in the country, and they see it as a growing market. So I think 6-point will be there. I don't know when, but.
I mean, that would be great. I don't know if we'll get beers like this, just the regular stuff like their resin IPA and some of the base, like the big, more mass-produced ones. But either way, I'm excited about it. I've heard a lot of good things about 6-Point, and I can't wait to get into this. Really quick, we're going to go to the chat, and then we'll get right into it. So Trish says she would have bought one if she knew about this. This is kind of spur of the moment. I I forget Trish lives up there close to Bumpy, so she can get this beer as well. By the way, when we get done with this, Trish is doing. We're probably overlapping a little bit, but Trish is doing her Wine Stay Wednesday tonight. So everybody tune into that after this. I've actually got a wine, Trish, so I will probably join. It's just cheap Manischewitz blackberry wine, but I'll be there. You've got Brian says Bumpy don't look so good. He says you got the Corona beer virus. And then Brandon says, who's the criminal in the hoodie? Man, Bumpy turned some heat on. And Bumpy's getting a hard time already here. And then we got Drunken One. Look at this panel. And yeah, we'll just stop there. There's some other comments that I won't actually post up on the screen, but check them out if you want at your own risk. So let's get into it. I'm going to crack this thing open, give it a pour. I'm just salivating already. I haven't even gotten a whiff of it. I'm going to pour mine, and everybody else do the same. Let's see what we're working with here. First 6-point beer ever, and what a beer to drink for my first 6-point beer, right? I'm going to save this can as well because I'll probably never see it again. It does say that it's aged in bourbon barrels for anybody out there that doesn't already know that. It says also that they select only the finest barrels of beer aged for years in bourbon charred oak to create a master blend. So it's kind of like a cuvee, I guess. They take a lot of really good different barrels and beers, and they kind of blend them together to make this ultimate master blend beer. So
should we all pick up our beer and take a sip, or you want to do the nose first?
Yeah, I mean, there's the appearance there. It's going to look the same for everybody. Black with a little, I guess, dark tan head?
Dark tan head, and it's, very nice head retention. It's staying well at the top.
The first thing I'm getting with the aroma, it reminds me a lot of the Evil Twin Grand Cru, actually. It's got a lot of really deep, rich malt character. The bourbon's definitely coming through. It smells so good. I'm sure I'm going to love this. If you guys have anything to add on the aroma, go ahead.
The first thing I pick up is a chocolate.
There's definitely chocolate behind the first smell you get.
Yeah. Oh man, and I just took a sip too. I just couldn't wait.
You could say John couldn't even wait for the cheers, but that's okay.
Cheers, guys. This is really good. The bourbon notes are.
Thank you for sending it to John. I know he really appreciates it.
Yes, I do. Oh man, Drunken One says cheers to Kormarov. Jeremy Vincent says John's alive. Yes, Jeremy, I am alive. I did make it. Sorry about Multi Monday. Bumpy's got a great channel there with and does a great job with Multi Monday. And I did not really stick around for the whole thing, but the beer that I had was good. I just really didn't appreciate it because I drank too much.
That can happen to all of us.
And then Blake TV says best crew ever. That's right, Blake. Thank you. I don't know about that, Drunken One. I don't know if I'm a lush. I'm just I'm a purveyor of fine beer. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just I'm distracted here because of how great the initial sip was. I didn't know if I was going to be let down or really enjoy it because the hype when you get something built up in your head like that, the hype really a lot of times the beer doesn't live up to the hype. Well, I can tell you right now that I'm loving this beer. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Michael Kormarov and let him give his impressions of the 6-point master blend.
The thing I guess I like the best about this, you do get the bourbon, but it's not boozy bourbon. It's kind of like you can tell that it's a big beer, but it's not in your face. Some of the beers can be so boozy that you can't get through the booziness. As Jesse said, I can get the chocolate undertones as well. There may be some coffee here too, but again, it's mild coffee if it is, and maybe some dried fruits as well.
I definitely get the dried fruits, like a prune raisin type deal, and a little tiny bit of like a vanilla note coming from the barrel. I think when I did my my tasting video on it, I was picking up on like coconut and stuff like that. I'm not getting coconut in it now, but I think the vanilla is still there.
And the 13% is masked, but it's not totally masked. You can tell this is not a session beer. And if you can't, then you're in other kinds of trouble because the alcohol's there. It's just that to me, it tastes more like a really standard, but it's there. There's alcohol
there, but it's there in the best possible way. The alcohol doesn't override the palate. It doesn't matter. The malt character with this is out of this world. You're getting the roasty, toasty, dark chocolate, almost a slight coffee just because of how darkly roasted it is. The dark toasted bread notes, vanilla bean.
Are you getting some of the dark fruit, some of the raisin?
Yes, I'm getting a little bit of it's not plum. I guess it's more along like a raisin fig note. That's what I'm getting, like a raisin fig note with this.
So like dates, like a date.
Date, that's all. Yeah, raisin fig date. I'm definitely getting that. Almost like something you would get with a Belgian quadruple L, but because the roast is so much more pronounced, it really just complements. Like when I was a kid, I used to eat the chocolate covered dates, and that's a lot like what I'm getting here with that, the chocolate covered date type thing. It's very roasty though. The roast really comes through. The bourbon notes are definitely present, but it doesn't override the palate. It's pretty balanced. And the 13%, you can tell it's high alcohol because of the barrel presence, but it doesn't taste super boozy. It is slightly warm and going down, but it's not. I mean, you could drink it very quickly because it is smooth all the way through. And Bumpy, yeah, I think I jumped you with the description. So go ahead, and if you have anything to add, or what are you feeling about the master blend? I did watch your review, and I know you really like it as well. But I mean, it's dynamite.
I mean, the way I feel. One thing I will say is I think the body feels very thin for being at 13%.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm getting a more medium body on mine, but I guess that's a point of interpretation.
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
also not feeling the best right now, so.
All right.
I do get the burning in the throat and everything going down with the alcohol in this one. I know when I first had it, I think the alcohol didn't show up as much to me as I'm actually getting in the flavors right now. But I might be coming down with something. The taste buds might be going away.
I'm also really impressed take a look at how the head is declining. It still sits on the side of the glass. So it's really, the head keeps refurbishing itself, which means the head retention is really good. For 13%, that's pretty nice.
Right. For 13%, I can kind of swirl it around here and get some nice little lacing going on there. Yeah, the body with this for me is perfect because you get some of those beers that you pour and you get like the motor oil thickness, super viscous beers. With this one, it's not so much. I wouldn't call it thin, though. I would say that it's just more appropriate almost. Like you get some stouts that are just so heavy, you drink half of it and you're like, man, I'm full. This one, you can, although it's medium to almost heavy body, you can drink it all the way through and not feel like you're super full. You get the full experience of the malt, the barrel aging, just the everything without being too pronounced. So for me, this is perfect because I could drink a couple of these and obviously that would be my night right there because 13%, it doesn't take much, but this is really, really something. I'm glad that I got to try a 6-point beer, and I'm glad this is my first one. The 45 IBUs, I will say, are pretty. They're pretty non-existent. I'm not getting any bitterness. I did pick up on a light coffee note in the middle, but there's really no bitterness on the finish that I'm picking.
I agree. There's no bitterness. Now, if you're comparing this with the KBS or the CBS, theirs are higher IBUs and do tend to be more bitter than this.
But see, the CBS and the KBS are coffee forward. They add a ton of coffee to those beers. This, as far as I know, they don't actually put coffee in here. The roast and everything that you're getting from this, it comes from the roasted malt. There's no actual
coffee in this, as far as I know, either.
So to me, this is a step above, because not to disparage coffee. I love coffee. Well, I like coffee, and I like coffee in my beer. But when you can do a stout like this, and it can be this good without the addition of coffee, it's a true indication of quality. And
I'm going to make another point. I had this limited release of the same beer at 13.8. This is better. Now, maybe by toning the alcohol down a little bit, it's helped the overall beer. That one was good too. I wasn't cutting. That one was a little boozier. And again, we're only talking about 0.8, less than a point. But you start getting up closer to 14. Drunken One is really getting into this.
Drunken One's, yeah. Craft Beer Pours is in here saying all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but again, John, they're calling you sexy, so that's a good thing.
I guess y'all need to get some prescription. You need to update your prescription. So, yeah, man. We've got Dr. Frosty Brew. I almost missed you, Dr. Frosty Brew. Thanks for tuning in. I don't recognize this viewer. Thanks for tuning in. Sounds like a great beer. It is. I'm not sure where you live, Dr. Frosty Brew, but if you can get 6-point beers in your area, you should definitely look for this one and, any of the other beers that they have as well.
Bumpy, during your nap, William Kepley made an appearance on Wild Card Wednesday, which is unusual. He has been on before, but he was doing really well. He did Burger Beer from Cincinnati, which I've never even heard of. But it's an old beer that's been around, and it's a macro.
Yeah,
but
I know I meant to join. I had a beer and everything planned, but when it was getting close to time, I was on off stream with John and stuff, and I was just leaving the stream for a little bit, laying down.
I had to go make my phone call. I procrastinate as well. Wednesday is always my busiest day, so I'm trying to call people, and I was listening to the live stream while I was, trying to get done with my work calls. Here's a good comment for Jesse. That might make you feel better.
IRL, I guess that means in real life.
I don't know. This group gets salty in a weird way.
We got quite the characters tuning in tonight.
We know John well, and some of these.
So you know how a lot of beers, so you're left with, like, if it's got a high bitterness level.
Topless photo of you. He buy Georgia beer.
Oh my God!
Are you guys kind of left with just a bourbon finish, like the flavor of just bourbon left over?
No,
or is that just me?
I'm getting the roast. The roast seems to stick around on the back end on the finish, as well as some of the vanilla and the oak, which makes you realize that you're drinking a stronger beer. But to me, that's a good quality with this beer. It's kind of like when you drink a good whiskey or good bourbon, you kind of have that lingering oaky finish with that nice burn. And get that with this, which lets me know that the barrels that they're aging in are good, and the roast that's left behind for me is really nice. It's kind of a cross between the Boulevard Whiskey Barrel Stout and like a CBS for me. It's like somewhere in the middle, because there is coffee with this, but the coffee is not coming from coffee. It's coming from the roast, the malt, because there's no coffee added to this.
Right.
So the best way I can describe it is a cross between like a Founders CBS, because it's a little less coffee forward than the KBS, and a Boulevard Whiskey Barrel Stout, which I know Michael's had both. I've had both as well, and those are really the two beers that come to mind when I'm drinking this, and it's like a perfect melding of those two beers, and nothing is too strong, nothing is overriding my palate. It's a perfectly balanced beer. The barrel notes are there, but they're not super intense. The malt really shines through, and the alcohol at 13%, although you know it's a stronger beer, it's not overbearing on the palate.
Now, if you don't like bourbon, this is not a good beer for you. If you're not into whiskey at all, because it's a predominant enough flavor that you probably wouldn't like it if you weren't into whiskey at all. That's my opinion. I'm not sure that's true.
If you don't like bourbon or whiskey, then I don't think you would like this, because there's a lot of barrel presence with this. But I think most of us that are drinking these types of beers, we go into it with the expectation that there's going to be a strong barrel presence.
Right.
And in my opinion, when you have the wood and the vanilla and those oak characteristics, and which also up the ABV when you barrel age something, I think that it complements the stout, most of the time. You can overdo it. I've had some that are just like, it tastes like somebody just poured half a bottle of whiskey in the beer, and that's no good either. You have to have that balance. And I think that they do a really good job with this. And I wanted to just really quick go to the chat. William Kepley, I saw you on Wildcard Wednesday. I wish I could have been there. I was trying to get some stuff taken care of. I'm glad that William Kepley is back in the mix. You've been in my prayers, brother, and I'm glad you're doing well. So cheers to William Kepley.
Cheers to William Kepley. Sorry, I wasn't there in the wild card thing to see you come in with that burger beer.
Stalwart since the.
I will go back and watch the entire thing later for sure.
You got to show the Craig Swensen comment, John.
Is it a good one?
Do I have to?
John, these are your fans.
All right. Yeah, Craig's just a smart ass. That's what he is.
He's just trying to be cute, but he's your fan.
Yeah, it's all right. We all love Craig. Craig's a cool guy.
Now, what's happened to my fan? He hasn't been on. What was his name?
Victor Wang. Yeah, Victor Wang has not been on in a while. I'm starting to think that.
Bumpy, he was my big fan. Every time on Stout Sunday, he'd come on and say,
Victor Wang loves
exclusively wonderful, and hit me with all this stuff. And it was hard to take because I didn't expect a fan. But he hasn't been on for a while. Maybe it was too much Mike, and he just couldn't handle it anymore. I don't know.
Right. Let's see. Dr. Frosty Brew. Yeah, Wildcard was good tonight. Well, thanks for joining, Dr. Frosty Brew. I'm not too familiar with you, but I'm glad you joined, and I appreciate you watching. We all do. Brian says, cheers to William Kepley. Jeremy says, they love you, John. Yeah, they love the panel. They love everybody that's hanging out with me. I'm just an afterthought. But thank you, Jeremy. So,
okay, John, I have a big question now, and Bumpy, you can talk about this too. How about bringing in that big dog in the room, Goose Island, Bourbon County? Can we compare this?
I have not had the original Goose Island. 15 points. I cannot compare this to Goose Island because the one that I've had was the Cafe de Olla, the coffee one. I've never had the original. And
but that's another offshoot last year, right? You had another big one last year.
I had the barley wine. We did the barley wine. I've had the barley wine with you, the wheat wine with you, which was over 14%, but I didn't get that here. I got that in Louisiana. And then I had this year, which I can still get when I went to the growler shop downtown Newnan. They still had like 2 cases of it left. So I could go buy all the Goose Island I want, but the only one that I can get legally here in Georgia is the Cafe de Olla because it's 13.4%. It's the only one of the 2019 Goose Island variants that was under 14%.
Right, because the regular stout is over 15.
It's 15.2 or 15.4. Yeah. So I don't know, but I will defer to you guys. What do you think? How do you think this compares to the Goose Island?
I've only had the 2015 Goose Island, and it was like 15 point something percent alcohol, and it was, for my palate, it was too boozy. So I would prefer this over that, just because I'm not like a big hard liquor drinker. So if something tastes more like it's that heavy in alcohol.
But you don't like necessarily, you're not a huge fan of the barrel-aged stouts in general, right? Like typically you find them a little bit too I don't want to say offensive, but maybe too strong for your personal tasting preferences.
No, I like the barrel, as long as they're done nice. Like, 'cause I like some of the nuances of like bourbon and whiskey, but I don't like having whatever 40%, 50% alcohol that they're at sometimes. Actually, in my gullet, because it's just too much. But so I like the aromas and the kind of afterthought flavors that you're left with. But
I actually find that this is very. I mean, this is one of those beers like you drink it and like, wow, barrel presence. This has got a ton of like bourbon character on the flavor. So for you, this is not overdone with the barrel presence.
Yeah, no, I like the barrel presence. It's the alcohol flavors and stuff that I don't really care for when they get really big. That's what I was actually when I had the Dogfish Head 120, which was at 16, almost 17% alcohol when I did it, and I was amazed that it really wasn't too boozy at that percentage. I thought it was just going to be straight up ethanol tasting, and it wasn't like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm freaking loving this beer. Thank you so much, Jesse, Bumpy Road Brewery, for sending me this. Like I said, everybody out there watching who's not already subscribed to Bumpy, go sub to him. I will post a link for his channel in the description below. But if you're watching this live, just go to Bumpy Road Brewery, you'll find it. We still have to go back around. We've got a lot of people in the chat. We've got a lot of people watching here. Mm-hmm. We still have to go back around and give our ratings. So I will start. We'll go back to Michael first. What are you thinking for a rating?
I've decided to go the 99 route, which is as high as I've ever given anything. But I'm a 6-point fan, and I don't hide it. So this is at least a little bit better than the 13.8 limited release, which I gave a 98. So it's going up to the top of anything I've ever done. I've given no hundreds and don't plan on giving any until you get me some. What was it? What is it? Westervelt? What's the 12 that Jay talked about?
Westfalterian 12.
Westfalterian 12. If I get that, maybe that'll be 100. But
I don't know, though. I've heard it's very. I haven't had it either. But if you've had the St. Bernardus 12, App 12, I've heard it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, I don't know.
I'm going to give it 99. As far as I'm concerned, this beer is pretty flawless. I mean, I love it. I have 3 more cans.
Right.
and I can get more. So it's pretty good.
Jeremy's talking about Alex's show on Friday. Everybody who doesn't already know, Alex does Food Fridays, Alex Beer Master Food Fridays. He's doing Spam this week. Everybody go check him out. I will do my best to join if I can. Spam is not something I've ever had, and I probably will never have it again after Food Friday, but I will try it for Alex.
Yeah. My wife asked me, she was out shopping, and she said, "Hey, is there anything you need me to pick up?" And I'm like, "No." And I'm like, "Wait a second. Actually, can you get Spam?" And she goes, "What?" Can you get Spam? She's like, "Ew." She's like, "Why would you want me to get Spam?" And I'm like, "Because it's Alex's Food Friday." She goes, "I don't want that in the cart with any of the other food."
Like it's gonna contaminate the rest of the cart through the aluminum, the packaging that it's in.
The Australians like it, from what I hear. Australia likes Spam.
Yeah. They also what's the other thing they eat? Vegemite.
Vegemite. I've never had. Oh God, I've heard terrible things about Vegemite. That's an Australian thing, though. Vegemite.
Right. It's an Australian thing. They like Spam too.
All right, so we've got a 99 from Michael. Bumpy, what do you think?
If you want my true thoughts and feelings on this beer, I do have my video that I posted on it. You don't have to go watch it.
So you're gonna
I'm just saying that was
if we want your true thoughts, we got to go to your video, and you're going to lie here on my channel. Is that what?
No, I'm not going to lie. No, what I'm saying is, I think my palate's. I'm not feeling super well. So from what I tasted when I did my video is a little bit different from what I'm tasting right now. So like right now, it's not as good as the first time I had it. Like I said, when I did my first tasting on it, I was picking up on like coconut, vanilla, the very strong, the chocolate, the oaks and all that stuff. I'm getting a lot of that. I'm not getting the coconut type note I was getting before. There's just a little bit of a vanilla. The body to me right now feels thin, and I don't know why. I mean, also I'm the only one that has no date on their can.
We would assume, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still think for what I'm tasting, I still think it's an excellent beer.
Did you give it a number on your video review? I can't even remember.
No, I just said it was excellent.
Okay.
All right. So Michael is
this one's just a little less excellent than.
So what can I put as a number for you? And because I don't want to put an arbitrary one.
On this one, I'd give a 97.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Okay.
On the video, I probably was more like a 99.
All right. Well, that leaves me. I'm going to give it a 99. It's the only beer that I can think of that's better than this is the Goose Island 2017 Backwoods or Northwoods edition with the blueberry extract and the almond extract, or blueberry puree and almond extract. That's like the number one stout I've ever had. This is right there with it. It's a 99. It's a 99 out of 100. I know Ron doesn't rate it like this. When you talk about 99, you're talking about A+, outstanding, whatever. This is world class for me. It's a world class beer. 98, 99, 100, it's world class. When you get that high, you're just being nitpicky and you're just differentiating between world class and super world class. But this is world class. It's outstanding. I would recommend it to anybody who can find it. I'm once again, Bumpy, thank you so much for sending me this. That's
the other thing too. The price point on this.
Yeah, what is it?
It's like $5 cheaper for the 4-pack than getting KBS or CBS. So I think it's comparable to like a KBS Founders. Right. So terrible.
I'm very pleased with it. I absolutely love it. I hope that I get to try some more 6-point beers soon. But yeah, this is a world-class beer. And it seems like from what we're all saying here, this is definitely one that if you're into stouts, if you're into barrel-aged stouts, you need to try this beer if you can, because it's that good. It really is that good. And there's the label one more time for anybody out there that might be watching. They do have the slim can, which I think is really cool. I'm going to save this can because I'll probably, like I said, it'll be a couple years probably before I see this again, if ever. So we will go ahead and
can we
wrap it up with
can we ask who's in the chat right now?
Yeah, we've got Drunken One, we've got DJ or Dr. Frosty Brew, who says high scores he needs to try this. I think is what he's trying to say.
John, ask if anybody else has had this beer before, because maybe some of the people can get 6-point.
Has anybody else in the chat had the 6-point master blend? If so, what did you think about it?
They have a distribution network in the states they're in, but they're just not in every state. They're in Illinois and Chicago. That market has it. North Florida and Middle Florida, for some reason, has it. I don't know what the story is, why they're there. Delaware, New York, New Jersey, New England has it. Virginia, North Carolina has it.
Mm-hmm. And not everything, because we've been getting 6-point for quite a number of years here in New Hampshire. And you did like the Jammer series.
Yeah, I got a whole different.
Yeah, I never saw that on shelves here.
Interesting.
in New
Michael
Hampshire.
gets a lot of things, and I'm sorry. I will be right back. Let me just mute my camera. I have to pee, so I'm going to mute my.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say.
We'll keep it live for another few minutes to see if anybody responds. But what I was going to say was the Jammer series. A lot of the stuff that Michael has gotten from the brewery up there is limited to just the immediate area. They don't actually can and distribute it out. It's like you have to wait in line to get the beer. And Michael, I'm sure, has more to say about that.
There was, Bumpy, a Jammer 15-pack, which they did put out across their line of states, I thought, but maybe New Hampshire didn't get it, which had, the series. And I bought one in Costco and got a really good buy for like $15 for the 15-pack. And when you get a Jammer, which it was only 4% alcohol, it wasn't big, but
right.
It was, if you like that style, they had 5 different varieties. They had a berry, they had a fruit, whatever they were, regular Jammer. At Costco, I bought it, and I figured you couldn't go wrong for $1 a can, and it was decent. Some were better than others. I can't remember if I had a favorite. I think I liked the berry, but
I think that's the only one. We had one Jammer that showed up on the shelves, and it was a blue can Jammer.
Maybe that was the berry, but
Yeah.
there was a straight jam or a berry, a whole bunch of different, 5 of them. And that did go at least to other places other than the limited release ones. It's funny, in this limited release series of the Master Blend, and I still have some left. I have an orange cream, which is one variant, and I have one that was done in Jameson barrels of the Master Blend. So I have, John, I was mentioning that of this Master Blend, the limited stuff that they did at the brewery, I have an orange cream. And I have one that was done in Jameson barrels, too, that's in my refrigerator now that I bought, that I still have some. But I can save those. Those will last a long time. Even in cans, you can keep Imperial Stouts, and they hold up. Jeremy had access to Sixpoint, and now he's having trouble finding it.
He says, he was talking about the Jammer series, but it was only 4%, so he didn't buy them. He says he's also had other great Sixpoint brews, but he has not had the one that we're drinking tonight.
Well, hopefully he'll get that in Arkansas too, and he'll have access to it.
Right. Okay, so we've all given 99, 99, and then Bumpy gave his a 97. Excellent beer, definitely worth checking out. We'll go ahead and wrap up the live stream. Thanks everybody in the chat. Or Bumpy, do you have something to say?
Yeah, Multi Monday coming up.
Yes.
For anybody who's watching, I'll have to make a video anyways because there'll be other people out there that might not be here right now anyway. But the IPAs have won for the poll there. So what I'm choosing to do is the hazy IPA.
Hazy. So okay.
So hazy New England IPA, but they call it
IPA. So you're telling me I probably shouldn't have drank the Ex Machina earlier tonight because I could have brought that one. That one was freaking awesome. Yeah, Bumpy sent me some good stuff. So a New England style IPA, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Everybody definitely go check out Bumpy Road Brewery Multi Monday. He's doing that. That's a regular thing on his channel now. Just don't go watch last week's Multi Monday with whatever it was on there. No, I'm kidding. Everybody go watch it. Just I couldn't stick around. I had to drop off not because I was sick or anything. Everybody was wondering where's John. I'll tell you what happened. I hung out with Drunken One too long before the live stream started, and I had drank too much. That's what happened. So everybody go check out Multi Monday on Bumpy Road Brewery for next Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I will be there.
Stout Sunday as well at 10:30.
Stout Sunday as usual, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. And William Kepley's talking 6-point barrel aged righteous rye available at your Total Wine. William, I don't know. That's awesome. You should definitely check it out if you haven't had.
William, pick some of it up. That's good stuff.
That sounds. I haven't had it, but it's. I mean, as good as this one is, I would say definitely check it out. And Dr. Frosty Brew says cheers. So thanks again. Yeah, thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks to Michael Kormaroff out of Brooklyn, New York. Thanks to Bumpy Road Brewery for not only sending me the beer but joining us and giving us his interpretation of the beer as well. I know you're a little bit under the weather, Bumpy, so I appreciate you pulling it together and joining us this evening. I am super excited. We're going to go off air now. I'm going to get to drink the rest of this and not have to think about it anymore. It was freaking awesome, though. 99 out of 100, world-class beer. If anybody out there has not had it, buy it, try it, and let me know what you think in the description below. That'll do it for the special examination of the 6-Point Master Blend series. I hope everybody has a great night, and until next time, everybody, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.